Here we are back at it again with more music takes, and oh boy, do I have a Goliath of an album to review today. In the last music video I made, I was reviewing the album Bad. I know I said at the end of the video I would either be reviewing Purple Rain or Thriller next after I reviewed Bad. But since we're already on the topic of Michael Jackson, I might as well go ahead and get Thriller out of the way and, talk about one of my favorite albums of all time. I do have plans on reviewing Purple Rain because that is also another great album that deserves to be talked about. And if I'm going to be, quite frankly, if I'm going to be talking about music on this channel, I need to be talking about Purple Rain. But today's focus is none other than the album Thriller. Michael Jackson's Thriller was released in 1982, and it holds the record for the best-selling album of all time. 70 million records sold. That is an absolutely insane accomplishment, and it is constantly brought up in discussions when talking about the top greatest albums of all time. I think Rolling Stones put it at number 2 a little while ago. Is that for good reason, or is it just all smoke and mirrors? And is this album really worth such praise, and is it really worth such a placement? Well, that's what this video aims to determine. And spoiler alert, I'm going to go ahead and just rip the band-aid off immediately and go full throttle and tell you, yes, Thriller is one of my favorite albums of all time, and I am a bit biased towards it. But I'm going to try to review it objectively. I just got done saying that Bad is on its level, or perhaps slightly better than it, but that doesn't take anything away from this album. Anyway, let's hop right into this album. Let's review it. So when talking about Thriller, there are obviously 3 songs that come to mind. Everybody on the earth has heard these songs at least once, or at least knows of their existence. You know exactly which 3 songs I'm talking about, and I will eventually get into those songs as the video goes on. But they are probably the most popular pop songs ever made, hands down. They will forever stand the test of time, as which they already have, and they will never be forgotten, most likely. The first track that this album starts off with is "Wanna Be Starting Something." Listening to this track, you can just really tell that it starts off with this very groovy and catchy vibe. The instrumental, the background instrumentals are just so catchy. It starts off with the do 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 do. It's just so catchy, and then Michael Jackson's flow into the song is so groovy. There's really no other word to use here but the word groovy, because it's exactly what this song is. It's just an absolute bop to listen to. Michael Jackson has some tendencies in the song to really just let loose and just showcase a very weird variety of vocal ranges, especially when the verses end. It sounds awkward at first, but they really do warm up to you. And the song obviously has a, very interesting meaning to it, with, rumors being spread and just being stuck in the middle of confrontation. It's really a great song and a great intro to this album. Baby Be Mine might be the most overlooked and underrated Michael Jackson song ever released. Almost every song on this, almost every song on Thriller is overlooked because of the big 3, because, of the impact and the cultural presence that they have. But it doesn't take anything away from the song Baby Be Mine. It really kicks off with this funky disco kind of beat, almost and then it eventually goes into this rhythm that MJ hits with these smooth spoken high notes, and it forms into this very catchy and rivable song. The instrumental and beat to the song isn't the selling point or the best showing of the song, but it isn't bad either. It's honestly fine, but the vocal performances on the song is really what makes it an amazing song. And the little chorus that it does have is honestly some of the best parts of this song. It's by no means on the same level of something like Man in the Mirror in terms of vocal performances, but it's still a very, very strong showing. Both songs so far have been great, but the song "The Girl Is Mine" featuring Paul McCartney is a skip. It's definitely a skip. It really is. It's so far apart from the rest of the album. It has a very weird flow. It's Michael Jackson's performance isn't bad per se. His voice is never going to be bad, but it's just so weird. The direction the song goes in, and the chorus with the The doggone girl is mine. It's very, very funny in a way. It's weird. I wouldn't say it's trash, but it's just not a song that I really like at all. But that's okay because it's immediately forgiven whenever he drops the album track, Thriller. I don't know if this is my favorite Michael Jackson song, but it definitely might be. Where do I begin with this song? Where do I begin with the compliments that I can give to this song? First, let's talk about the music video. Easily, this is probably the greatest music video of all goddamn time. It's so fucking good. And it just boils down to being a Halloween song. But it's done so well. The atmosphere of the song in the video, it's just so unmatched. From the outfit that Michael's got on to the zombies and the fogged over grave and the ghouls that he eventually turns into and the ghouls he starts dancing with. As it's just so tremendously choreographed and shot. And like I said, the spooky atmosphere that the song has, it's just so awesome. It really just brings Halloween. It just breathes the spirit and the atmosphere of Halloween out of it, and it's just so damn good. The song starts off with a little bit of instrumentals and lightning strikes and werewolf howls, and it starts with this fucking fire ass beat. God, this might be my favorite beat of all time. It's one of my favorite beats easily. And it's the verse starts with the it's close to midnight, something evil's lurking in the dark. The verse starts and Michael's, he starts singing with these, fun horror elements within the lyrics, and it sounds so good, and he eventually wraps around to this chorus that everybody knows, and it is unbeatable, and it is so perfect. It is the best instrumental. It's the best beat. It has the best instrumental and chorus I've ever heard. It's just so fucking good. I don't know. I really don't know what else I can say about this song itself because it is just so goddamn good. The flow is awesome. The instrumental is legendary. The chorus is probably the best chorus of all time. As good as the song itself actually is, I recommend the music video to be the thing you listen to because not only does the music video have all these lights, flares, and cinematics, and, it's a spectacle and everything. It's just a superior way to listen to the song because the chorus is at the very end of all the verses. Instead of it being in between each verse, it's at the very end, and I prefer it that way. I prefer it that way, but it doesn't really matter which way you listen to the song. It's an absolute banger. Either way you listen to it, this song alone could give this album a fucking 9 if these were the only songs released. But that's not it. We move on to another popular and very well known and very recognizable song, and literally everybody knows it by its name. Beat It. This song is legendary as well. It's one of the most popular songs of all time, as well as, Thriller is. I don't enjoy it as much as I do Thriller or the next song we'll be talking about very shortly, but it's still a very good song, and it's a very good listen. The music video is also very well shot, very well directed. Not as good as Thriller, but it's, come on, we're talking about Thriller here. But, this one's good too. The overall song itself is very, very well made. The intro to the song, the awesome fucking drums, and then the guitar solo that comes in, and then it's just so iconic. And then he starts singing with the one of the best flows. The meaning of the song is very self-explanatory. It's just all about avoiding the fight and being a pacifist and being the better man and coming out to live another day. The overall beat, the flow, the entirety of the song is just so good. It's got a very powerful voice, and Michael's voice is very powerful. It's got a very powerful presence within the song. The verse that the intro accumulates into is such a fire verse. The chorus is very catchy, and the most memorable part of the song, beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it. No one wants to beat it, beat it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Literally everybody does.
Beat It is a great song, another iconic song from Thriller, but it's not the most iconic song on Thriller, surprisingly enough. Two of these songs that we've already talked about, Thriller and Beat It, are, great fucking monumental fucking songs in history, but they are not quite as popular as the next one. This is probably the most popular pop song of all time. Billie Jean.
This song is the definition of iconic. From the beat, the simplistic beat and groove and flow that the song has, the music video, the shiny glove that he wore in 1983, the moonwalk and the tiptoe stand that he introduced in 1983 with this song. I mean, god damn, it doesn't get much more iconic than this. Billie Jean is my favorite Michael Jackson song of all time. That might be, cliche and very basic, but it is. Like I said, the beat kicks on and instantly grabs you and pulls you into the song like no other. It's very simple. It's not too simplistic to where it sounds elementary and dumb, but it's simplistic enough to where it doesn't sound ridiculous and underdeveloped. The instrumental is just so good on the song, and the vocal performance, the vocal harmonies that back up the vocals are just so goddamn good. The song is damn near hypnotic. I'm not ashamed to admit that whenever I listen to the song, I start dancing immediately, as soon as the song is put on. And this song really stood the test of time. Who'd have thought a song about not wanting to pay child support would be such a fucking bop? But, because of these three songs, Thriller is known today. Because of these three songs, Thriller is popular. And I don't think there's any other songs that are this influential when it comes to modern day pop. They are likely the most recognizable pop songs of all time. Now the album itself, if we exclude the other the album in question after these three, there's three other songs left: Human Nature, PYT, and The Lady in My Life. I like Human Nature. I really like the soft-spoken, gentle nature of the song. It's one of his best performances on this album in terms of singing. It's not an ambitious track. It's not something that's going to make you stand up and start boogieing down like some other tracks on this list. But it's still a very nice listen. Very calming, relaxing song. PYT sounds like something that should have been on Off the Wall. That's not a bad thing necessarily. It's a great song, but it just doesn't really fit on this album. But, it's a great listen. It's not a skip at all. The Lady in My Life has one of my favorite instrumentals on the entire album. It's got a great performance from Michael. The flow of the song is very smooth, and this track is another one that's very relaxing. Thriller, as an album balances these songs that are very, ambitious and jump out at you with these, pops with with songs like Thriller, Beat It, Want to Be Starting Something, and Billie Jean. On the other hand, you got these very slow paced and very relaxing songs such as Baby Be Mine, Human Nature, The Lady in My Life, and PYT, like I said, doesn't sound like it belongs on Thriller. It sounds like it should have been on Off the Wall. Now, my thoughts on this album as a whole. I really enjoyed this album. Like I said, there's only really one song that I don't fuck with, and that's The Girl in My Mind. The Girl Is Mine. The rest of the album is a very, very great listen, and this album has three of the greatest songs of all time. It's definitely on. These songs alone solidified it as a top 10 album of all time. And there's also a lot of underrated tracks on this album, such as Baby Be Mine, that doesn't really get enough credit. But this album itself is very well rounded. And like I said, it balances upbeat pop music and smooth, relaxing music, and it does it very well. For that reason, I will be giving Thriller a 10 out of 10. Like I stated in the last music video that I made when I reviewed Bad, I do not believe an album needs to have no skips, and it doesn't need to have all songs being great to be considered a 10 out of 10. Hell, Billie Jean, Beat It, and Thriller on their own can give this album a 9. And with the addition of Baby Be Mine and Want to Be Starting Something, there's absolutely no reason to give this album anything lower than a 9. Like I said, I don't really fuck with, The Girl Is Mine. But other than that, this album is such a spectacle, and it's just such a iconic piece of, media within, the music industry and human history in general. It's so influential. It would be disrespectful to give this album anything but a 10. I do come away thinking, going back and listening through Beat It and Thriller and Bad back to back. I still think that Bad is still the more well-rounded album and has more quality tracks. But nothing on Bad can hold a candle to Thriller, Beat It, and Billie Jean. But the rest of the tracks are blown out of the water by most of the tracks on Bad, except for maybe the exception of Baby Be Mine. So for that reason, I give Bad the slightest edge. Like it's better by a pube hair. But that's the end of this review. The next review that I will be doing will probably be Purple Rain. It will definitely be Purple Rain. But I am really enjoying these music videos that I've been making, and I still suck at ending videos.